Good morning, everybody, and welcome to DLD College London. It's lovely to welcome you to DLD this morning for our virtual open morning. We're expecting quite a few people today, so we'll just wait a few seconds whilst people come in and join us. The meeting is being recorded, so we will send that to you after the this morning's event, so you can watch it again. If anybody would like to visit DLD College London, we'd be more than delighted to welcome you. We hope that this morning gives you a flavour of the college and the school, and it will interest you enough to come and find out more. We will have an in-college open morning in May, on the 12th of May, so there is an opportunity also to visit us then. So today we have various members of DLD College London who will give you an introduction to the school. I'm delighted that our senior team are with us. So Irfan Latif, our principal, our senior vice principal, James Kidd, for the pastoral side of the college, and then Sarah Watson, who is our academic vice principal. In addition, we have our director of boarding, our director of admissions, and also our two heads of school, Charlotte and Jess. So plenty of people to talk to you and plenty of people to answer your questions. This morning, if you would like to ask us any questions whilst the event is taking place, please don't hesitate to use the chat function or the Q&A function, and then at the end I'll host a Q&A session for you all so that we can answer any other questions that come up during the event. We do have some of your pre-event questions, so we'll hopefully answer some of those either in our presentations or at the end. So without any further ado, I will hand over to Irfan, who is our principal. Thank you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Irfan, we can't hear you at the moment.
I'm just trying to, okay. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this open morning here at DLD College London. It's a virtual open morning, so again, thank you very much for giving up your time this morning. We have some nearly 100 people on this webinar this morning, so that's great testimony to Rachel and of course everyone here, and thank you for giving up your time this morning to find out a little bit more about our award-winning school right in the heart of London, opposite the Houses of Parliament and on the very fashionable and creative South Bank. You'll hear from a number of colleagues this morning and students speaking passionately about their school. And I'm just going to share my screen with you here, and hopefully you'll be able to see this. Right. Is it? Yeah. Okay, so here we are. That's DLD. Can everyone see that? Rachel, is that okay?
Yes, all good, thanks.
Wonderful, thank you very much. Right, so there's DLD, and it's here, right, as I said, just opposite the Houses of Parliament, not far from Westminster and Waterloo. And it's our values. This continues to be a very challenging time for us all, but like the virus, we've mutated into something really, really strong. Our powerful ethos and core values of tolerance, respect, academic curiosity, community, and kindness have really strengthened our community during this unprecedented time in our history. We're a family looking out for one another, caring for each other. That's what makes our school so special. And it's those strong and powerful relationships that we nurture and we foster here that makes for a very happy, caring and supportive environment. I am privileged to be the principal of this innovative and forward-thinking school. Now, if your son or daughter comes to DLD, they can expect high quality teaching, excellent pastoral care, and of course, a very friendly house system, a range of co-curricular activities to nourish the body, the mind, and the soul, and a compelling ethos of well-being, which is at the heart of our school, and where your son or daughter is at the center of everything that we do. Our vision is to create unique learning opportunities. Although we're not blessed with acreages of fields, we do have London, and London is our classroom. We have the opportunity to go down to the coast where we take our students for wellbeing weekends and leadership weekends. We're the only school in England to have its speech day at the Houses of Parliament right opposite here, DLD. We're very, very lucky to have those facilities, and it's more important that we use those facilities in London to make sure that your son and daughter gets the best learning experience possible. So our mission is to develop the next generation of leaders to take their place in a challenging and diverse world. DLD, and I'll talk a bit more about DLD in terms of its meaning, but that's what our mission is. You've seen what our values are, you've seen what the vision is, creating unique learning opportunities, and our vision is to develop the next generation of leaders to take their place in a challenging and diverse world. Development, leadership, and diversity. And you will notice here the outstanding successes that we've had at DLD over the past 4 or 5 years. If your son and daughter comes here, they will benefit from everything that has happened here over the past 4 years. There's been quite a lot of change here at DLD. Our sector-leading work in wellbeing and mental health was nominated for the prestigious Independent School of the Year award back in 2020, and we were shortlisted for the Test Boarding School of the Year in 2020. In October 2020, we were awarded the Special Judges Award for Independent School of the Year and Boarding School of the Year. And later that year, we were awarded the Mental Health in Boarding Gold Award by the Carnegie School of Education for our sector-leading work in boarding, which you'll hear more about from Shirley later on. We've also won awards for innovation in education from the Alpha Plus Group. And last year, we were finalists in 3 categories at the prestigious Independent School Association Awards, winning the award for mental health and well-being. It's been an outstanding 18 months of national recognition for our school, and I'm very proud of the DLD community. Its students, its staff, its parents, its governors, and of course, our wider community and network. And to have won these much coveted accolades and recognition during this very challenging time for us speaks volumes, not only about the staff, but about our students and our parents here at DLD. And it's our staff that are the key ingredient that makes our school so special. So we've been awarded another award, the London Healthy Workplace Charter for our work on staff well-being. We've come a long way in a short space of time, and we look to continue to be a caring but innovative and forward-thinking school, which leads the way in teaching and learning, in well-being, and of course boarding. And our exam results as well are testimony to that hard work. Some 82% of our students gained A star to B at A level, with 100% passing the BTEC with merit and or distinction, and 100% of our students achieved 9 to 4 at GCSE. These are truly remarkable results achieved by our truly remarkable students. But just don't take our word for it. These are where our students go off to, and the testimonials that we've received from parents and our students is second to none. We support and help our students go on to some of the best universities, not only here in the UK, but abroad as well in the US. And there seems to be a bigger pipeline now of students wishing to go and study at the US. Last week, we had representatives from New York University who were here looking at our school, and we've sent a number of our students over to NYU. But as the Good Schools Guide recently said, DLD is a friendly and relaxed place with excellent pastoral care, attentive teaching, and high aspirations for all. It stands out against the competition. It's an exciting time for the college and an exciting time for you to join us. And I only hope that your sons and or daughters seize the various opportunities that are here on offer for them. From music, sport, art, drama, Duke of Edinburgh, Model United Nations, debating, public speaking, the list goes on. So that they are ready to face the challenges that lie beyond our front doors. And as we look to continue to grow DLD and become an outstanding school with all the exciting innovations that we have in our Wellbeing Centre to our sector leading urban boarding philosophy, I want us to remember the three pioneers who established DLD way back in 1931 and who the college is named after: Davis, Lang and Dick, DLD. And as we celebrate our 91st anniversary this year, it's important we respect and continue their powerful legacy and long-standing reputation into the future as they now become part of our 21st century vision: development, leadership, and diversity. And I'd like you to be a part of that vision. And I look forward to developing your sons and daughters to become the next generation of leaders in a challenging and diverse world. Thank you very much. I'd now like to pass you on to our head of school, Charlotte Price.
Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Charlotte. I've been at DLD for the past 3 years. I've completed my GCSEs here. I'm currently studying history, psychology and business at A-level. I'm also an Alpha Scholar, and next year I intend to study in the US. I'm not quite sure which universities yet. I'm still waiting for a few more offers. I've been given the grueling task of having to find my two favorite things about DLD to talk to you about today. And after lots of soul searching and discussions with my friends, I've decided I'm going to speak to you about the opportunities and community that DLD creates at DLD. The community at DLD is something that I've never quite seen before. There's really no layers or boundaries between year 12s, year 13 and GCSE. What this kind of means in practice is that everyone comes to DLD and is friends with each other. I've got friends right now from Russia, I've got friends from Korea, and then this summer I'm going to spend my summer in Greece with one of my friends. This kind of environment and community really creates for such good learning environment in the classroom because we have such great discussions. Currently right now in history, we're learning about the Soviet Union. We've got a boy from Russia who likes to tell his stories. So that's really nice. But then we also have a boy from Poland who has different views and likes to discuss that in the classroom. So the community and environment that DLD creates is probably one of my favorite things. And then the second thing I'd like to talk to you about is the opportunities. At DLD, I kind of like to say, if you don't ask, you don't get. But if you ask, you probably will get. Whilst I've been at DLD, I've been able to get my bronze, silver and gold Duke of Edinburgh award. I've been able to be mental health certified. We had a speaker come in from Syracuse University who the teacher ended up hooking me up with, and I've just been given a place to study at Syracuse next year. The opportunities that we get outside of the classroom, a speaker came in, an environmentalist came in recently, and now we are setting up a charter with him to make DLD more environmentally aware of their environment and usage. So the opportunities you get at DLD, not from just being in the classroom, but as Irfan says, outside the classroom. And then another phrase we like to say, I'm a boarder. So the classroom is DLD in the weekday, and then the weekend, it turns into our playground. So being able to experience central London in this lovely weather is a unique opportunity that I haven't seen anywhere else. So those are my two favorite things. I'm going to hand over to Sarah now to speak to you a little bit about academics.
Thank you so much, Charlotte, and hello to everybody listening to this webinar today. So my name's Sarah Watson. I'm the Vice Principal for Academics at the college. We really are in a unique context, being in the heart of London, surrounded by innovation, enterprise, history, culture, and academic centres. And this means that we can offer a varied and unique learning opportunity to students in terms of their academics. Students here have the opportunities to build their own pathways to their next steps beyond DLD, and we have dedicated teams to help them in that endeavour. So if students are joining us in year 10, which is currently our youngest year group, they have the opportunity to gain between 8 to 10 qualifications. These can range from a suite of 10 GCSEs for students looking for a more traditional pathway and access to traditional courses at universities such as medicine or engineering. Students may also feel that they want to go down a more cutting edge route that explores areas such as business, esports, sports management and performing arts through many various BTEC level 2 programs, which are the equivalent of GCSEs. These courses are equally as valuable as GCSEs and are seen as so by the academic community. But they're slightly different in the way they're taught. They often tend to be more practical, hands-on and project-based in comparison to the GCSEs, which do tend to be more exam-focused. So really following what your strengths are as a student and where you'd like to go in the future. You may also choose to have a mix between the more traditional GCSEs and the more innovative, forward-thinking BTEC options for you at years 10 and 11. We also provide a one-year GCSE for students in year 11 who maybe have a more unique case and reason for needing to do a one-year GCSE option. Those students will come out of DLD with 6 GCSEs. All students in all of the year groups will take a bespoke course on life and learning skills, as well as a course specifically dedicated to careers and professional development, where students will look at how to write a CV, how to access internships in the future, topics such as what investments are and what they can do for you, and also looking at the careers of the future as well. And we provide guidance throughout to help our young people find the best progression routes for them and their interests, as all students have a personal tutor. In years 12 and 13, students can study a wide variety of full A-level courses, which are 2-year courses mostly, or BTEC courses, which are the equivalent of 3 A-levels. And for those courses, we do a variety, including media and business, and we're very well equipped for those courses. We're having a green screen studio, a recording studio, multimedia devices, and photography equipment. For international students, there is also the option to choose an international foundation program, which is a 1-year course that offers you access to universities. Our IFPs are well respected by universities, many which are in London and some wider from the UK and further afield. And these courses range from business and economics to courses such as fashion design and development. We also have our unique academic preparation course for students who might need to develop their English language skills further before embarking on one of our academic programs. And this can gain students an English language qualification accepted by universities known as the IELTS. Students have access to everything in London and the surrounding areas, and we have many trips to places such as the British Library, theatres and film studios, as well as many visiting guest speakers from around the world, which really adds to students' understanding of the subjects that they study in class. Class sizes are small, meaning students can work more closely with teachers, and we have many societies, clinics and clubs that support them, such as Medical Society or further maths clubs. We're experts in university knowledge. Many of our university counsellors have worked in universities themselves and have that specific knowledge of them. And so it means that every student in DLD, once they get to year 12, are allocated their own personal university admissions tutor who will take them through the entire journey of firstly researching universities, applying to universities, and then if needed, following through with the process at the end of clearing. So we really do have a rounded program for students. We have several options, and our focus is really on guiding what the individual student wants and what is best for them. So I now hand over to Jessica, another member of our student council, who's going to talk to you about her experience of academics at DLD.
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Jessica, and I'm one of the heads of school here at DLD, and I'm currently studying business, economics, politics, classics. So I also completed my EPQ last year. One of my favorite things about DLD, which Sarah mentioned, is the small class sizes. It allows for really great class discussions and for everyone to get to know each other, but also it makes getting help a lot easier because your teachers get to know you really early on and they know how best to help you. So one of the things that really drew me to DLD was the sheer variety in subject choices. So if you're someone that's passionate in classics like I am, you'll be aware of the fact that it's not the easiest subject to find. So when I realized I could come here and do classics alongside my other subject choices and the EPQ, I knew immediately that this was the place for me. Also, it was really important for me to find somewhere that would support me being dyslexic, and I can confidently say that DLD has, whether that be pre-releasing information for me before classes, which is accessible to everyone as well, to just having teachers that are really friendly and accessible and ready to help me if and when I need it. There's also a variety of academic opportunities, in particular the EPQ, which I could not recommend highly enough. It's amazing. It is such a rewarding experience because you get to research something that you're passionate in and share it with everyone else. So that's it from me, and I'm going to pass on to James, and he's going to talk a little bit about pastoral. Thank you.
Thank you, Jess, and good morning, everyone. And I shall do the obligatory screen share also. So just 1 second. So in terms of pastoral care, so for us, obviously, we want people to achieve their best. And whilst that obviously involves the academic, we recognise that people are people. They're not just exam grades. We're looking at making successful 25-year-olds. So when we hear back from students who come back to see us, they're saying to us, I really enjoyed my time here because I gained this, this, and this, as well as fantastic grades that enabled me to go on to university, the world of work, whatever that might be. We utilise several things here to make us be able to be proactive as well as reactive. So for students on the call, you will end up getting a pre-induction questionnaire. So a chance for us to get to know you. That starts at the interview stage, which Victoria will talk about later, but it also goes on to the questionnaire before you start to get to know you yourself, but also for you to understand where we're coming from. Once you arrive, you will be able to see the wellbeing centre that is in place and all the support that's there for you, but also you're part of our house system, which I'll talk about in just a second. We utilise various external providers. So for example, Steer AS tracking gives us an opportunity to get a deeper kind of understanding what's going on. And from that, your personal tutor will be able to talk through any concerns you have and to put in place a plan which will enable you to move forward with that. All of our staff do a mental health first aid course. So we understand that challenging life moving forward requires us to be able to challenge those situations now. Some students will also do that course. It may well be that our mentors who are doing that, also our student council, which Jess and Charlotte currently head up. The student mentors are a really big part of what we do here, as is the student council, because the pupil voice, student voice is really important to us. It helps us stay on track in terms of what we're trying to achieve, but also ensures that the younger people, and for the parents on the call, we're not getting any younger. We understand what your children are going through and what they need from us to help them best progress. We also have a coaching culture utilising the work of Braden, a company that deals with coaching. It's not just about telling people what to do, but actually giving them the tools to work out the best steps to move forwards. And so we utilise platforms like coaching to enable us to do that better. So we have a house system, and many of you may be in a house system in your current school. We have two parts to it. The younger students, years 9 to 11, are part of one house system, and then when you get into sixth form, it's a slightly different one. So in the years 9 to 11 are part of Marylebone or Westminster, places where DLD has been in the past located, and in the senior school, named after tube lines which run into ourselves and picked by the student council. When we first brought in the house system, the student council chose that as being the theme. So you'd be one of Districts, Jubilee, Metropolitan, Northern or Piccadilly House. Obviously house competitions play a big part in that sort of building of the culture of the house. So I'm sure between Jess and Charlotte, one in the District, one's in Metropolitan, they will tell you their own house is the best house. But that sense of competitiveness, that sense of community within a community is another facet that helps the pastoral care to develop. So you'll have a tutor every morning that you meet at 8:45, but your tutor group is part of the house. There's a house master or a house mistress who would sit over the top of that, and they'll meet you at induction, but they'll see you throughout the year, obviously, whether there's house competitions going on, or if you've got some challenges you need to talk to, they're also a line of support, along with our counsellor, our head of wellbeing, and various other members of the wellbeing team. Earlier, Earthan mentioned the co-curricular activities. I've put a few on here, but you have a choice from over 60 different activities. Sean, our head of co-curricular and sports, each term will put out a new range of things for you to choose from. We do expect people to do at least one, but I'm sure Charlotte and Jess will tell you that it's very difficult just to pick one. So many people will do a lot more, and it depends on what you're looking for. My advice is always to think about balance. So if you're looking to go off and do medicine at university, absolutely join MedSoc, but it's also good to get out in some fresh air and maybe join the football and netball team so that actually you've got a bit of balance in what you're doing. The Duke of Edinburgh Awards at silver and gold level, both very popular, as is things like the Debating Society and getting into competitions, which will help your public speaking, or things like Chemistry Olympiad, great for the CV and also the personal statement when you're applying for university. Finally, character education is at the heart of what we do. Again, these values mentioned by Earthan earlier: tolerance, respect, academic curiosity, community, and kindness. Are you on track? That's something you'll hear from teachers, from house staff, from house parents in the boarding, which Shirley will come on to later. But it's about understanding, again, that idea of successful 25-year-olds. It's not just about A-levels, BTEC grades, IFP grades, GCSEs. It's about us being people and understanding that we represent ourselves within a wider community, but also we represent the school beyond that. And obviously as well, for the parents on the call, I'm sure they represent you too. So we want to make sure that this is a place where students can come to learn, one, for the subjects, but two, for life. That's it from me. Back now, I believe, to Jess to go on to the next stage. Thanks, Jess.
Yeah, they are.
Hi again. So one of the great things about the CCAs is just how many there are that are available. So there's some academic ones, such as the Biology Society, the Business Enterprise Society, and many others. And there are also some that aren't academic, such as the sports ones. So we do netball, boxing, fencing. And the really good thing about this is that no matter what your interests are, there's always going to be something that you will enjoy partaking in. Also, they're really flexible. So if you ask about a CCA and they might not do it, then chances are they'll be able to introduce it for you. So for example, I want to do law and they introduced a law society this year. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about support. So being a boarding school, DLD very quickly becomes like home for many of the students. And I think the main reason for this is because of the strong support system here. So in general, everyone's really, really friendly and open to helping you with anything you may have problems with. But also every student has a form tutor and a house mistress or house master, which I'm going to refer to as a HM. And the great thing about them is that you have them for your entire time at DLD. So they really get to know you and you them, which gets them really well equipped to handle any issues you may have. Also, there's a well-being area where you'll find the nurse and the counsellor and some really comfortable bean bags. So if you ever get the chance to come visit DLD, I highly recommend you try those out. And this area is just really great because it's quiet and it's a nice place to go and de-stress and relax after a long day of lessons. Also, there's a bunch of student-led initiatives to help support students, such as the wellbeing teams, which is a part of the Student Council wellbeing clinic, which is run by the members of the Student Council. So I can confidently say that if you come to DLD, you will feel at home immediately. And I really hope that you do. Thank you. I'm going to pass on to Shirley.
Hi, thanks, Jess. Okay, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about boarding. As you know, we are a boarding school. I'm just going to pop the obligatory slides up, as James said, start sharing. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so we have 14 floors in our boarding house, separated by gender and by lower school and upper school. And they have varying different views over London. So we'll come on to a little bit more about that later. So in the first instance, obviously when you come to boarding, it will mostly be about settling you in, making sure that you're okay, settling you into your huddle. I'll tell you a bit more about huddles later, and then into the wider boarding community, and then the wider DLD family. So in those stages, so that you can take it slowly and at your own pace and get to feel really comfortable in your environment. So there are 4 house parents at the moment at DLD, and each house parent is responsible for a huddle. And a huddle is a collection of floors that all of the house parents look after. So depending on which floor you'll be in, depends on whose huddle you will be in. And that house parent who is dedicated to you will be there to support you with all of your pastoral needs, any homesickness, any overnight care that you need. There is a phone number that you call and a house parent will come to you. It does not matter what time of day or night it is, they will be there for you. It could be things like helping you to learn how to wash your clothes, if that's something you've never done before, making appointments, opening a bank account, basically anything that mum or dad you would normally do. That's what you would go to your house parent for, and they will be able to help you with all of it. So that's a little bit about our award-winning pastoral care and wellbeing support and first-class facilities in London is what we're going to come on to now. And everything is all underpinned, as Irfan said earlier on, with kindness, tolerance and respect, which we have a real opportunity to explore further in the boarding house. So where are we? We talk a lot about how close we are in London, and I think sometimes if you Google image London, these are the images that come up and you think, okay, that's fantastic, but is that really where we are? So if you look at the picture on the right hand side and you'll see Big Ben, just down to the bottom at the left, that white building there, that is DLD. So we really are that close. That's Westminster Bridge between Big Ben and the houses of Big Ben and DLD. And then just to the left, you will see some of our students walking across Westminster Bridge on their way to graduation, and in the background you'll see the London Eye. So just to give you a bit of context about where we are that close to central London. And just at the top there you'll see a little snapshot of one of the boarding rooms, again with a view over central London. So that is where we are. We really are right in the middle there. We are a stone's throw away from the West End, if you like theatres. There's Wembley for sports fans and football fans. The O2's on our doorstep for the live music lovers. All of the iconic venues right there. And we do encourage our boarders to get out there and explore that. As Charlotte said to you earlier on, DLD is the classroom during the day, but London really is the classroom at the weekend. And we want them to go out there and make absolute use of everything that it has to offer. So, okay, there are many, many leadership opportunities that we can support within boarding. So as you can see, Jess and Charlotte, who are with us today, are heads of school, both on the Student Council, both boarders. Charlotte's actually my next door neighbour. So they develop their skills and they're able to transfer those between boarding and into the day students. We also have a huddle leadership team for those who might not quite want to be on Student Council yet or might be a little bit younger. They have those internal opportunities and they can still take advantage of that. James touched on mentoring a little bit earlier on. Every student in boarding, when they first arrived, will be given a mentor, and that will be a student who will be able to help them, as well as their house parents, the wellbeing team, as James talked about earlier on. They will also have a student that they are able to go to with any problems that they might want to discuss. We also have a food committee, which you can join, which enables you to have a little bit of a say in the food, the kind of food that we eat. You can feedback all of the fantastic things about how wonderful the food is, and very, very, very rarely anything that you would like to see changed. And there's also house captains with the house system, which a couple of other people have touched on and mentioned. So that's a little bit more. Okay, so we totally understand how lucky we are at DLD and in the DLD community and the opportunities that we have and that are presented to us. But we also understand that not everybody has those same opportunities. So we find it really important to ask our students to go out there and be involved in the community. And what we find is this is something that they really, really want to do. So we enable them, we help them, we facilitate that for them. We've done things like fundraising for Save the Children, the Evelina Children's Hospital and St Thomas's Hospital, which are just across the road from us. We've done Christmas card making for the Older Persons Unit, fundraising. Every year, the Student Council and the boarding team get together for the Children's Book Project and collect books to donate. There is a local food bank, a Waterloo food bank run by Oasis, and there's a big food drive every year. And you may well have seen in the national press that during the lockdown period, when the rainbow became the national symbol in the UK for NHS, DLD were actually tasked with covering our building, flyering our building with thousands and thousands of rainbows, and it was given national press coverage as our big thank you to the NHS. Okay, so pastoral care. Who are the house parents? What can they do for me? House parents, whatever your son, your daughter, if you are a future boarder, whatever you can ask, they will be able to answer. There will not be a question that you can ask that they have not heard before. They have been doing this for a very long time. The boarding team at DLD are very experienced and very highly qualified. So definitely, definitely ask them anything. I challenge you to try and come up with a question that they have not heard before. Boarders on the whole speak very, very positively about the atmosphere, about how they feel when they're in boarding, about the relationships that they are able to have with their house parents, and very, very quickly, it does become very much like a family. We also have a lot of positive feedback from parents who feel very reassured once their students are in DLD, once their children are in DLD, because they're reassured by the fact that they've come to us, we're looking after them, we will constantly communicate with you, we are available to speak with parents at any time as well, help with anything that you have, any concern. We are always there. And some of our students have said, as you can see, everyone in the boarding house does their absolute best to make us feel understood and welcomed, but most importantly, loved. And I think one of the most important things I can say about the boarding team at DLD, they are highly qualified, they are highly experienced, but every one of them loves what they do and loves taking care of these students. And that really comes through, and all of the students really feel that. And I think that's an important thing to know. So some of the support that they can offer, the Wellbeing Centre, as James mentioned earlier, our head of wellbeing is actually one of our house parents as well. And he offers a drop-in session twice a week that's only for boarders in the evenings, and they can either make an appointment to go along and see him, or they can just knock on the door, and he is available to help and support anybody with anything. And he really does get absolutely everything from, you know, I'm having problems with my cat, to, you know, university is driving me crazy, who am I going to apply to? So he covers absolutely everything, and he is there purely for boarders. James mentioned that we are a school with a coaching culture, and again, all of our boarding staff are coaching trained. So they offer coaching drop-ins, but they will also visit students in their room once a week on a scheduled time, so students know when they're coming, just for a quick chat, a check-in. Your student might say, everything's absolutely fine, I've had a fantastic week, it's absolutely brilliant, in which case it would be quite a short visit. Or a student may well say, actually, I feel like I need a bit more of a chat, in which case they will make time to see them for a bit longer. It's also really important that they do get to spend that time with those students, because also sometimes students are reluctant to say something, and with the highly trained staff that we have, they do pick up on these things and they recognise things that maybe students aren't willing to talk about in the beginning. All of our staff, as James said, are first aid trained. And also one of the biggest things that we've developed over the last couple of years at DLD is sleep training. So sleep is one of the things that many students struggle with when they first move to a new place, when they're going through exam periods, periods of stress. Sometimes students have no idea why they can't sleep. Sometimes we as adults have no idea why we can't sleep, but we do know it's a problem. All of our staff are sleep trained. We have 2 qualified sleep practitioners at DLD, and DLD actually won a sleep award from the National Sleep Charity, and we became the foundation for a national study. So they described our work as groundbreaking and award-winning. And we all know that sleep is key in healthy function, mentally, physically, emotionally, in every part of our lives. So it really is vital that we have good sleep hygiene. And that's something that we give to our boarders, which hopefully we teach them how to do this for themselves, very much along the same strain as James was talking about with coaching. It's about equipping them with those skills that they have themselves, so that when they leave us, they are able to take those healthy habits and take those good practices out into the world, because we want them to have the best care that they can possibly have when they are with us, but we also want them to go away equipped for the next stage of their lives without us. One of the things that I find most exciting about boarding at DLD is the trips. And I know that Irfan says the same thing, because all of our staff are invited to go on trips. So you will find day staff, you will find boarding staff, even our principal likes to come along on the trips with the students. So I've just put up a little snapshot of the most recent ones to show you how eclectic they are. So we did take a group of students to a place called the Cat Cafe. There were so many students that wanted to come to this, we actually booked out the entire venue. And this is a place where you really do just go and have cups of tea in a building full of cats. It's not for everyone, but there were so many people that signed up and went and thoroughly enjoyed it. We took our boarders to see Hamilton in the West End. 2 weeks ago, they all went to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, parts 1 and 2. It was a long day, but very enjoyable. At Christmas, they were able to go ice skating at the National History Museum, something that is renowned worldwide, and they were able to do that. And things like the FA Cup final at Wembley, as well as the internal things that we do, things like our annual International Day. So just to give you a little snapshot of the kind of things that we do at DLD. And again, as Rachel said, please do put any more questions that you have in the chat at the bottom. I'm going to hand you over again to Charlotte, our head of school, and my next door neighbour. All right, thanks very much. Okay.
Hello everyone, it's me again. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about my boarding experience. So I joined DLD when I was 14 years old, and at the time my parents were nervous about me coming to London. I'd previously only gone to traditional boarding schools, but I knew London was where I wanted to be. So one of their biggest concerns was safety. And I feel personally DLD could not make my experience in London better, as safety is very important to my parents, but also to me. DLD has a program called Reach, which is where we use our lanyards and we tap out of the building, but we tap out what kind of area in London we're going to. This isn't to prevent you from going anywhere in London. DLD wants you to go and explore London, but it's if there's any incident or anything you need to be aware of, the closer you are to that particular area of London, you're informed first. So the Reach program, number one, is a very important thing. The second thing that DLD does to make us feel safe is the DLD boarding group chat. This is a WhatsApp group chat with, I think, about 130 boarders, which you can imagine sometimes is manic when there's Wi-Fi issues or something, but it also means when we're out and about, DLD can contact any one of us and we in turn can contact the house parents. I think it's 24/7, but I know from personal experience, house parents do not like you talking to them after about 12 o'clock on the weekends. Another thing that DLD has in place is the curfews. So it's 10 o'clock if you're over 16 on the weekdays, and then 11 o'clock on the weekends. And then on the weekends, this new thing that we've magically had is 12 p.m. registering in the morning, which is just brilliant. It's amazing. It changes the whole weekend. It means we get to, as Shirley mentioned, sleep longer, and it means we're more prepared. And when we go out and explore London, we're better rested. As Shirley mentioned, again, the trips, whilst I've been at DLD, I've managed to go to, I think, 3 England games, 1 Arsenal game, and then a Spurs game. I've been to see Les Mis, I've done the Cat Cafe, I've been ice skating, I've been to Bicester Village. Recently, we've just had a laser tag game, and then the most popular trip that we do, I think, is the go-karting. This is the funnest one because day students come along with the boarding students, and there's a little bit of a race and a little bit of competition that goes on. So although DLD is a boarding school, there isn't really any difference. The trips are open to day students and they're open to boarders, and I usually think that it's about 50-50 that will come on the trip. So day students will come to DLD and we'll all leave together as a group, and then we'll all come back together as a group. We also have the Atrium, which is just a big open part of DLD in the centre, and that becomes sort of a common room about after 7 p.m. And then all throughout the weekends, we bring out pool tables, we have ping pongs, we have karaoke, and Jess, bless us, has to listen to me sing quite a lot of the time. And then that is just a small mention of our facilities downstairs. We have a gym, we have a swimming pool, we have a theatre where we do midnight horror movies. They're not for me, but they are for some people. We like to celebrate every single holiday you can think of. We had St. Patrick's Day the other day, we had Burns Night, we have Christmas parties, Halloween, and then some obscure events that I can't mention because I don't know enough about. We celebrated Holy, I think it was last Friday. So DLD likes to make sure everyone's included. We know a lot about each other because we spend all of our time together. But I think the thing that I enjoy most about DLD boarding is the location, but also the fact that it does feel like a home. I come back every September and I'm glad to be here. I move all my stuff into the room and then immediately it feels like home. I get to meet new faces and be a part of the mentor program where I make someone else understand why DLD is so brilliant. But then I also get to meet new people who can teach me new things about DLD. So recently I had a day student take me over to Greenwich on the River Thames because it's so sunny at the moment, and I'd never done that before, and that was just because we'd made a connection and she wanted me to show some bits of London that she loves. So boarding really is brilliant at DLD. It's very different to traditional boarding schools, but that's what DLD is. It's really unique and one of its kind. So now I'm going to pass over to Victoria to speak a little bit about admissions.
Thank you, Charlotte. So hello everyone, I'm Victoria, Head of Admissions here at DLD College London, and our job is to make your application to DLD as smooth as possible. We know that selecting a school is a big decision and the process can be quite formidable. You will have lots of questions, so please feel free to ask. Nothing is too trivial. Just shout if you need us. After this session, you'll receive a Zoom link. It's an email with all our contact details. If you're in the UK, you can contact me directly or through the website. And if you're an international family, just fill out the form online and we will allocate a member of our international team to support you throughout the application process. So I thought I'd run through the admissions process with you very briefly. The first thing I would mention is the tour. Do come, please do come. If you can, come in person. We love showing people around our school. There's a real energy about the college and it's your chance to see us in action and to speak to our students and our staff. Also, it gives you the opportunity, and it's been mentioned a lot already, but it gives you the chance to see where we are, our unique position in London. We're so lucky, and you've heard Irfan say it, and Shirley and Charlotte, that London really is our classroom. So if you like what you see, and we all think we're a good fit, then you will move on to the application stage. It's a simple process. We'll need to do some paperwork and we can go through that with you. We'll need a report and references and that sort of thing, and you'll fill out a form. And if you're an international applicant, then our international team will care for you as well and help you with that. You'll then move on to the interview, which James mentioned. Now, this will either be in person or online. It's with a senior member of our staff, and it gives you the chance to talk through goals, aspirations, and also to hear about the subjects that we have on offer. So, all being well, you will either then receive a conditional or an unconditional offer. We may ask for proof of language proficiency, something like IELTS or the Oxford English Assessment, or we may stipulate certain grades before you join us. This will vary from course to course. And if you're happy, then we hope you will accept the offer, pay the deposit, and we look forward, all of us, to welcoming you to our DLD College London family. So that's it for now. Please remember, we're here to help, and contact us when you need us. Many thanks. Back to Rachel.
Well, thank you, everybody. If all the panelists can put their video on now, please. I'm conscious of time. I don't want to hold people up for too long. So we will whiz through some of your questions. Thank you so much for being so interactive online today. It's great to see. A very quick one for Irfan. Is DLD still part of the Abbey College group? Please. Irfan, you're on mute.
Brilliant. I love that. Yes, we are still part of the Abbey College group of colleges. We have our sister colleges in Manchester and in Cambridge. And of course, we have a whole host of schools in London, in Kent, and of course, one in New York as well. And we're part of that extended family, being part of the Abbey College group of schools and colleges.
Wonderful, thank you. And James, we've talked a lot about the boarding today, and also the pastoral and support for the boarders. Somebody's just asked about assimilating the day students into the college. Now, there's also been questions about percentages of students where almost 40% are day students, so just over 60% of boarders. But James, if you could answer that question, please.
Yeah, so I think there's two parts. One, whilst obviously the boarders are here and living here, there are things like trips that run that the day students are welcome to join in. We want our boarders to feel like this is home. So just like if a day student invites their friend round, a boarder can invite their friend round, and they can come and sit in the Atrium, which is a big social space. They can go on trips with them and so on. So whilst obviously most day students will leave at the end of the school day, there will be opportunities and there will be times when day students are in boarding environment, just then going home for the night to sleep. In terms of the care, the wraparound care that exists, so boarders and day students are mixed in the house system. So there'll be day and boarding within each tutor group, which perhaps is how people might make new friends. And so that support system is in play there. The Wellbeing Centre is open throughout the day, so people can go there through that time. But also there might be opportunities when they come and join something of an evening, which is to do with maybe a wellbeing workshop. And so there's all those sort of facilities going on. So the day students can join in with bits and pieces. It's just that in real terms, they're sleeping somewhere else.
Lovely, thank you so much. Charlotte, somebody's asked how the boarding experience differs from more traditional schools. And I know that you've had experience with boarding at more traditional schools. So it'd be interesting to hear from you from a student's point of view.
So I have done boarding at traditional schools. I have done the church on a Wednesday and on a Saturday. I have done sports fixtures on the weekend. And your only escape is via school bus and you get takeouts on Wednesdays. I've done that and I've enjoyed that when I was younger. I felt like it was very good for me. But I did turn 14 and realised that I wanted something more, and DLD offered it to me. London is the central bit of the UK. Everyone and anyone is here. There's many more things that you can do on the weekends. I mean, we've mentioned it. It's the West End, it's the football, things that you can't get at a traditional boarding school. And we still do have the facilities that you get from traditional boarding schools. We have Elephant and Castle gym where we play basketball. We recently got a mugger outside where we play basketball with like 6 of us or something. And we do the sports and things. So there's really nothing you're missing out by coming to DLD. If anything, you're kind of gaining something by participating in this big city.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Rachel, can I just jump in on that and say the rooms might also be the biggest. So I've worked for 14 years in a traditional boarding school where and Charlotte's nodding away. There might be dormitory of 6, 8 different people in a room. The vast majority of students in boarding at DLD College are going to be in single rooms, their own ensuite shower, desk, bedroom, storage. It's more akin to a university style, so that preparation that you're going to go on to, but also your own space. So you can actually feel, you can close the door, you're not sharing a bathroom with someone you've never met before, you've got your own shower, you've got your own zone. And that, I think, is a big thing that a number of people, when they look around the boarding house, it's something they feel that's definitely something I would like for myself, rather than sharing perhaps with another 7 people I've never met before.
Brilliant, thank you. Sarah, we've got quite a few academic questions. People want to know what our requirements are to join. And then, is it possible to do 4 A-levels plus an EPQ?
Yes, it certainly is possible to do 4 A-levels and an EPQ. Many of our students start with us on 4 A-levels and many continue. Some choose to drop down to 3 A-levels, but starting with 4 is totally not a problem for us. And we would encourage students to take the EPQ, as we know it's highly valued by universities and the like. Thank you.
And what about admission entry requirements?
So probably one of the most important things is the level of English language. So it's just appreciating that these are academic courses, and so we would expect an IELTS level of around 5.5 to be able to access those courses. So level of English is one to look out for. And then for the other courses, it very much depends. So there will be courses that students have never studied before. For example, a lot of students might never have studied psychology or sociology. And so we would just look for, some good GCSE grades, maybe 5 GCSE grades around a level 5 and above. But it is very much dependent on the student and what they want to study. So for example, if you'd like to come here to do art, then we'd ask you to show us some of your artwork and an art portfolio, so we can get an idea of where you're up to with your artwork. Maths, for example, we'd obviously look for you to have a good standard of maths in the school that you're currently at. And if needed, we might speak with head of maths to speak with you to see if the course is something that you're aspiring to. So I would say it's very much on an individual case-by-case basis, but level of English is probably the one thing to really take note of there.
Lovely, thank you. Before you go, are both maths and further maths A-levels taken in the upper 6, or can maths be taken in the lower 6?
So maths A-levels are 2-year courses, and that's how they ran here. There is the option for, if for any reason there is a reason to start here for an 18-month program, then we can offer that in maths as well. But traditionally we would say maths are 2-year A-level courses, and they're both taken in the upper 6.
Okay, thank you. Irfan, people are asking about support for Oxbridge applications and for potential medical students. So how do we support them?
Yes, of course. We have a number of UATs, and that's our university admissions tutors who look after a specific area of courses. So business, medicine, dentistry, English, science, etc. And we then find out what the kids want to do, and we assign them to those university admissions tutor, who then work with those kids over those 2 years in the lower 6 and upper 6 to provide them with those unique learning opportunities to ensure that they are well prepared for Oxbridge, for medicine, for US universities, and so we will do all that we can in order to support them. There's also a lot of independent work as well, and we're teaching the likes of Charlotte and Jess to be independent individuals, so that when they do go to university, they will have to understand that they have to take responsibility for their learning. So that journey with us begins when they join us, and we teach them those independent learning skills, which become so important to them when they go to university and into the world of work. But yes, there is a comprehensive system here of supporting our students to get into some of the top universities around the world.
Lovely, thank you. So I have a question about average class size. Jess, could you ask that from your experience, please?
So all of my classes, there's no more than around 12 people, and that's like on the high end. For my classics class, there's only 3 of us. So the class sizes can be really small. And as I mentioned when I was speaking earlier, that's a really great thing because it allows you to work really closely with others in your class and for your teachers to get to know you really well.
Thank you so much. And GCSE students, we do have the students in our younger years. James, how many GCSE students are there at the moment?
So between the years 9 to 11, there's 60 plus students, a bit more than that now. And Gareth, our head of lower school, will be able to give an exact number, but it's definitely a growing proportion of our students. We've got a new course coming in from September for our 2-year GCSE. Sarah mentioned about the BTEC and GCSE combination offerings. So that has been drawing some attention, so we say. So we expect that to keep on building up as we go through into next September.
Thank you. Alpha Scholars and General Scholarship Enquiries. Victoria, happy to talk about those, please. Somebody just wants a quick overview, if possible.
Yes, well, we have different scholarships available. Our Alpha Scholarship Programme offers up to 50% of tuition fees, and you can read about that on our website. So you apply through that. We have a way of assessing it with a question that we ask you to answer with a series of different topics. And we also have other scholarships available, and we can discuss that with you on an individual basis. We also have a bursary programme for occasional students as well.
Thank you very much. A couple more boarding questions. Are there weekly boarding as well as full boarding? And if I want to join as a homestay option rather than a boarder, is that possible, Victoria?
We do have rules for homestay. We have to ensure that our students are safe. That's our first priority. So if a student wants to live with a family member, we have some rules about age of the family member and that sort of thing. And it has to fit also in with their visa requirements. Did you say flexible boarding as well, Rachel?
Yes, weekly boarding.
Yes, so we don't have a programme particularly for flexible boarding, but our boarding staff are very, very flexible themselves. So if you have family members that want to take you out, as long as we know where you are, we have parental permission, students are allowed to come and go at the weekends and that sort of thing, and occasionally midweek with permission from Shirley, head of boarding. So, but we don't have a flexible boarding regime as such.
Okay, thank you so much. Sarah, I don't know whether you know what the NEB results equivalent is in the UK.
I'm not sure, sorry, but we can provide equivalents for different world qualifications on request.
Brilliant, thank you so much. And of course, we do welcome everybody into the school. Just contact Victoria if you'd like to come in for a tour. She'd be more than happy to welcome you, and we can sort that out and meet the students. You can have taster days with us, etc. So that would be great. Irfan, we have a question about proportion of students from ethnic minority backgrounds and what we do to encourage ethnic minority intakes.
Yes, we have a number of students from ethnic minority backgrounds. They form part of our DLD family. We are very big and conscious about inclusion and diversity and equity. I run the EDI, the Equity, Diversity and Inclusion for the entire sector. I chair that along with the ISC and the BSA. And it's we are a very diverse population. You can see that from our senior heads of school right through to our management as well. So we are, we are part of a wide family, an international family. And as Charlotte said, that's something that really brings value to the community here at DLD, where she can interact with people from all over the world, and get a perspective on what's going on from their point of view. And that's what makes DLD so special. We celebrate when we can every possible festival. So we've had the Persian New Year recently, Chinese New Year, we had Rosh Hashanah, we've had Holi. So there's plenty of opportunities for us to celebrate those cultures and make sure that everyone understands and appreciates and learns more about those different cultures, because it is very diverse when we leave the school gates, and it's important that our students are aware of that, understand that, and appreciate that.
Thank you. Charlotte and Jess, I have a question about the teaching staff, and again, I thought it'd be interesting from a student point of view, if you can talk about a little bit about the teachers and how you find them.
So the teachers are really, really friendly and really helpful. As I mentioned earlier, they will help give out information in advance for lessons. And if you have any problems, they're really good at accommodating a time where you can go and speak to them, whether that's before the class, after, or even after school. And it's so easy to find them as well. They have their offices and everyone knows where they are. So yeah, the staff are amazing and they are really, really great at helping you with any problems you may have.
I might also add that DLD does a really good job at making you, I mean, we've said it a million times in this presentation, making you prepared for future life. DLD understands that it's a stepping stone for our careers, our next level of education. And so the teachers are really forward thinking in that perspective. My psychology teacher will pull you aside and discuss what you want to do in the future. My history teacher has helped me write recommendations. So I've been able to get internships. And in the summer, I'm going to Wharton to go and take part in the business program. And the business teachers, the history teachers, they come up to you and make sure that you're aware of the things that you need to make yourself competitive in a competitive environment. So it's more the teachers being aware, you being able to collaborate with the teachers, and then you become the best student you can be in later years.
Thank you. Question about learning support. Who would like to answer about a particular question about supporting children with slow processing speed for Year 12 admission?
I can take that one, Rachel.
Thank
So we are a mainstream school, and we do provide what mainstream schools can provide in terms of learning support. So we do have a head of neurodiversity, and we do have another member of the team who can look at individuals. So again, this is on a very individual basis where we'd have to look at the student's specific learning needs and then see whether that is something that we can resource. So we don't have learning support assistants in classes or one-to-one learning support sessions, but we do work with students who have specific needs to see how we can help. But of course, we are a mainstream school in that aspect.
Thank you. There are some specific course questions, and I think those would be best answered by contacting us directly, differences between business, economics, etc. The GCSE programme Sarah spoke about earlier, you can watch that back on the replay video or contact us, look on the website, and we'll answer all those questions rather than going over it again. Vladimir, yes, you can visit DLD tomorrow. Somebody will show you around it will be our pleasure. So I think we've managed to answer everything now. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been our pleasure to talk to you. Really enjoyed all your questions. I hope we've answered them fully, but visit us anytime and we'll be in touch with you. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for coming.